Good day, everyone. In our previous lesson, we've learned about the different parts or glands comprising the endocrine system, as well as their functions and the hormones being produced by these glands. Today, we will be discussing some selected common endocrine diseases and disorders. We already know that the different endocrine glands produces hormones responsible for different body processes. And let us remember that if the body produces too much or too little hormone, it can cause disease. That's what we are going to discuss today, the diseases and disorders caused by hormonal imbalance. Our first disease is the diabetes mellitus. The diabetes mellitus is a condition where the body has high levels of sugar in the blood. So it means that there is a high concentration of sugar in the blood. That's why a person with hyperglycemia or high blood sugar often have or develops diabetes. The endocrine gland most directly involved to diabetes is the pancreas. It is because the pancreas produces insulin. It is a hormone. Particularly, it is the beta cells that produces or releases insulin. And this hormone, insulin, helps or lowers blood glucose by helping glucose move from the blood into our body's cells for energy. So insulin is used to move the sugar from the blood going to the body cells for energy. Let us look into this picture. Imagine that this is your own cell or body cell, and every time you eat or drink something that has sugar in it, the sugar goes into your blood. This is where the insulin's job enters. The insulin helps the glucose in the blood move from the bloodstream going to the cell for energy. And this insulin is used as a key for the glucose channel to open and for the glucose to enter the cells. In the case of diabetes, this happens because the hormone insulin, which helps sugar enter the cells for energy, is either lacking or not working properly. As a result, sugar stays in the bloodstream instead of being used by the body. Now, there are two main types of diabetes, and let us start with the type 1 diabetes. In type 1 diabetes, it is an autoimmune disease where the body mistakenly destroys the cells in the pancreas that produces insulin. Autoimmune disease means that the body's own immune system mistakenly attacks the cells or the beta cells that produces insulin in the pancreas. Therefore, there is little or no insulin, and sugar cannot enter the cells and instead stays in the blood. It causes hyperglycemia or high blood sugar. In here, the immune system mistakenly attacks the pancreas, resulting for the pancreas to not produce insulin. Therefore, more glucose in the blood is being built up. Since there is no insulin being produced by the pancreas, the glucose or sugar cannot enter the body cells, resulting to high blood sugar or we call hyperglycemia. The early signs and symptoms of type 1 diabetes includes excessive thirst, frequent urination, unexplained weight loss, fatigue, blurred vision, and increased hunger. A person with type 1 diabetes feels excessive thirst and experiences frequent urination because when there is too much sugar in the blood, the body tries to remove it through urine. This causes frequent urination. And because the body loses a lot of water, the person feels very thirsty. For its treatment, it involves regular monitoring of blood sugar levels. This device is called the glucometer. It is used to measure or monitor the blood sugar level. And of course, the lifelong administration of insulin therapy. Since the pancreas do not produces insulin, you must undergo insulin therapy so that the synthetic insulin can help the sugar move from the blood into the body cells. Now for the type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes, on the other hand, is when the body cannot use insulin properly, or there is called the insulin resistance. In here, insulin is still present and produced by the pancreas. However, the body does not respond or uses the insulin properly and effectively. Main causes of type 2 diabetes includes unhealthy lifestyle and obesity, and also genetic factors. Having a parent with type 2 diabetes increases the risk of someone or the child to develop type 2 diabetes too, or also. Look at this visual representation. In a person who doesn't have type 2 diabetes, the insulin works properly. It effectively helps the glucose enter the body cells. While in type 2, it is true that insulin is still produced. However, the cells are being resistant to the insulin, making it the glucose do not enter the body cells. Therefore, sugar remains in the blood, causing hyperglycemia or high blood sugar. Signs and symptoms also includes frequent urination, excessive thirst, increased hunger, fatigue or feeling tired, blurred vision, slow healing wounds, frequent infections like skin or gum infections, and tingling or numbness in the hand and feet. We can notice here that there are similarities with the signs and symptoms of type 1 diabetes. Their only difference is the cause of the diabetes. In type 1, the cause is that there is no insulin being produced by the pancreas, while in type 2, the body cells are being resistant to the insulin. For its treatment, this includes lifestyle modifications, medications, and glucose monitoring. A person with type 2 diabetes must change their lifestyle into a healthy lifestyle, involving balanced diet and proper exercising. For the medications, these are the medications that are being prescribed by doctors. You can just pause it and read it. Also, some doctors prescribe insulin. And of course, glucose monitoring. You must, or a person with type 2 diabetes must monitor their glucose levels. In here, we can say that it can be, or type 2 diabetes can be prevented through balanced diet or healthy lifestyle. Now, let us move on to hyperthyroidism. The endocrine gland involved to hyperthyroidism is the thyroid gland. Hyperthyroidism happens when the thyroid produces too much hormone called the thyroxine or T4 and triiodothyronine or the T3. This makes the body work faster than normal because metabolism speeds up. So these hormones help in metabolism processes, and if these are produced too much, the metabolism speeds up. The signs and symptoms of hyperthyroidism includes weight loss, rapid heartbeat, anxiety or nervousness, and heat intolerance or feeling hot. A person with hyperthyroidism experiences weight loss because even if the person eats a lot, the body burns energy too fast, leading to weight loss. And rapid heartbeat happens because the heart is stimulated to beat faster because the body is in overdrive. And anxiety or nervousness is being experienced due to the brain and nervous system become overactive, causing relentless and anxiety. And why a person with hyperthyroidism experiences heat intolerance, it is because the body produces more heat due to increased metabolism. So the person feels hot and sweats more. Primary cause of hyperthyroidism is Graves' disease. This is an autoimmune disorder where the body's own immune system mistakenly stimulates the thyroid gland or it attacks the thyroid gland to produce more hormone continuously. Other causes includes toxic multinodular goiter. So this is the goiter. It is developed in the thyroid gland, making a lump or nodules. And this nodule produce excess hormones independently. Next is thyroid adenoma. It is a non-cancerous tumor in the thyroid that produces extra hormones. So if there are lumps or nodules being developed in the thyroid gland, this stimulates the making of thyroid hormones. For its treatment, in the diagnosis and evaluation of hyperthyroidism, this includes the means of blood testing, scan or ultrasound, and physical signs. Blood testing is done by physicians to measure blood concentration of thyroid-stimulating hormone or the hormones T4 and T3, while in scan or ultrasound, it can identify overactive nodules or inflammation in the thyroid gland. And for the physical signs, such as an enlarged thyroid or there is a goiter in the thyroid gland, or there are eye changes. While medication and management includes antithyroid drugs, these antithyroid drugs blocks the excessive production of thyroid hormone. Radioactive iodine therapy. Radioactive iodine therapy ablates or removes the thyroid tissues. It is a safe nuclear medicine treatment where you swallow a small, tasteless capsule or liquid dose of radioactive iodine. And of course, surgery. When there is a nodules or a lump, a goiter in the thyroid gland, surgery can be done so that the overproduction of thyroid hormones can be reduced or can be. Next, the hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism is the exact opposite of hyperthyroidism. So it happens when the thyroid gland produces insufficient thyroid hormones, primarily thyroxine or T4 and triiodothyronine or T3. The disorder can affect people of all ages and if untreated, leads to systemic slowing of metabolic processes. A while ago in hyperthyroidism, there is a overproduction of thyroid hormones and it leads to faster metabolic processes. While in hypothyroidism, there is insufficient production of thyroid hormones and it leads to slowing metabolic or slower metabolic processes. Signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism includes fatigue. Fatigue happens since the body is working slowly and producing less energy. The person easily feels tired. And next is weight gain. Weight gain is experienced because the metabolism slows down, so the body burns calories more slowly and stores more fat. Slowed heart rate. Thyroid hormones help control heart activity. With low levels, the heart beats more slowly. And constipation. Constipation is experienced because the digestive system also slows down, making bowel movements less frequent. And depression also. Low hormone levels can affect brain activity and mood, leading to sadness or low mood. Lastly is hair thinning. The hair growth slows because the body is not producing enough energy and nutrients for hair follicles. The most frequent cause of hypothyroidism is the Hashimoto's thyroiditis. The Hashimoto's thyroiditis is an autoimmune condition in which the body's immune system attacks the thyroid tissues, causing it to produce less thyroid hormones. Other causes are iodine deficiency, because iodine also helps in the production of thyroid hormones. Next is surgery. When a person undergone a surgery and the thyroid gland or part of it is removed, the production of thyroid hormones also reduces. Next, radiation therapy and some certain medications can also cause hypothyroidism. In the diagnosis and evaluation of hypothyroidism, the following are undertaken by physicians. First is blood testing. Physicians measure blood concentrations of TSH or the thyroid stimulating hormone and the hormones T3 and T4 if these are elevated or suppressed. Imaging and ultrasound also to see the thyroid gland. However, it is just rarely that it is needed in hypothyroidism. Also, physical signs if there is enlargement of the thyroid gland or there is a goiter and other physical signs. For the medication, since the thyroid gland produces less or no thyroid hormones, there is a need for lifelong thyroid hormone replacement. These are the medications being prescribed: the synthetic hormone T4 or levothyroxine. These are tablets, and liothyronine or the synthetic version of the hormone T3. And in some cases, both are being prescribed. Next disease is the Addison's disease. The Addison's disease, also called primarily the adrenal insufficiency, is a rare endocrine disorder in which the adrenal glands fail to produce enough of the hormones cortisols. So in Addison's disease, the endocrine gland involved here is the adrenal glands, and there is a failure of production of the hormones cortisol. This deficiency disrupts metabolism, blood pressure regulation, and the body's response to stress. Signs and symptoms of Addison's disease includes fatigue, low blood sugar levels, nausea, diarrhea or vomiting, salt craving, darkening of the skin, weight loss, sores in the mouth, low blood pressure, muscle or joint pains, depression, irritability, and regular menstrual periods for female. The main cause of Addison's disease in most people is that it is an autoimmune response or an autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks and destroys the outer portion or the adrenal cortex where essential hormones are made. This results to the gland failing to produce enough cortisol. In the diagnosis of Addison's disease, it includes blood testing. Blood testing is done to measure the concentration of sodium if it is low, and potassium if it is high, and cortisol if it is low. Also, ACTH stimulation test or the adrenocorticotropic hormone test. The ACTH is a chemical messenger from the brain that tells your adrenal glands to produce cortisol. So it is from the brain that it stimulates the adrenal gland to produce more cortisol. It is also used or it is also being measured through blood testing and imaging tests or CT scan. It is used to see if there is a damage in the internal organ or the adrenal gland because CT scans or MRI is used to see the image, the 3D image of the glands or different organs of the body. The medication of Addison's disease involves hormone replacement therapy. It is usually in pill form. Example of this hormone replacement medication is hydrocortisone and fludrocortisone. Now let us move on to the Cushing syndrome. So we're already in our last disease, the Cushing syndrome. Cushing syndrome, on the other hand, is the opposite of Addison's disease. In Addison's disease, there is a low production of cortisol, while in Cushing syndrome, there is a high or elevated levels of the hormone cortisol. The condition may result from or cause from long-term use of corticosteroid medications, or from the body's overproduction of cortisol due to tumors or hormonal imbalance. So the causes may be because of long-term medications, or there is a overproduction of cortisol in the adrenal gland due to tumors resulting to hormonal imbalance or elevated production of the hormone cortisol. If untreated, it may lead to complications of other organs. The symptoms or characteristic signs of Cushing syndrome include rapid weight gain, moon-shaped face, there is a buffalo hump, thin skin with purple stretch marks, muscle weakness, fatigue, mood changes, and high blood pressure. Women may develop excess body hair and menstrual irregularities, while men may experience decreased libido. If untreated, the condition increases risk of type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and heart disease and infections. In the diagnosis and evaluation of Cushing syndrome, it includes low-dose dexamethasone suppression. This test involves taking of 1 milligram of dexamethasone at 11 p.m. to midnight. Then, with a serum cortisol blood draw at 8 a.m. So there is an intake of dexamethasone at 11 to 12 p.m. and a blood draw at 7 to 8 p.m. Then late night salivary cortisol. This method measures salivary cortisol between 11 p.m. and midnight. Then 24-hour urinary cortisol test using the urine to test the cortisol present. And then imaging tests such as CT scan or MRI. It is used to see the adrenal gland in a 3D image. Treatment includes surgery. It is done if a tumor is present because tumor affects the overproduction of the hormone cortisol. Then medications. These are the example of medication being prescribed by doctors. Meterapone, and as such, also radiation is being used to suppress the tumor in the adrenal gland. And then bilateral adrenalectomy. It is when both of the adrenal glands are being removed so that there is no resulting to no production of cortisol. And if this gland is removed, there is a need for medication intakes, synthetic medications or synthetic hormone intake. So this is the end of our discussion, and to summarize, all of these disorders are caused by hormonal imbalance and improper usage of the hormone. Now let's have a review. Diabetes involves the hormone insulin from the endocrine gland pancreas. Thyroid disorders involve thyroxine or the T4 from the thyroid gland. Adrenal disorders involve the hormone cortisol from the endocrine gland adrenal glands. Let us remember that too much or too little hormone can lead to disease. Now, before we end, let me ask you a few questions you can answer. Number one is, if the body is working too fast, is it hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism? Number two, what hormone is lacking in type 1 diabetes? And number three, what happens when there is too much cortisol? So that's where our lesson ends, and thank you for watching and listening. Hope you have a bright and a very, very good day, everyone.